Hey guys, welcome back. So just continue on from my last video. As I was saying, my son was already crowning by the time I got to the hospital because I pushed so much at home. He isn't crowning, so I didn't have to have a C-section. I didn't have a C-section. They put me on some Pitocin, but that's just to help prolong, to help you go into to help with contractions. So I didn't have any drugs. I pushed all naturally on my own with obviously the help of a nurse and a doctor. I don't really know. I didn't push for very long, but I was very sick. I was very dehydrated. They couldn't take my temperature underneath my tongue. They had to do it under my armpit, and I was very, very, very dehydrated. I don't really know if I had any fevers or anything like that. So there was all that. And then, I don't really know how long it took for me to push, but it took a little bit, but not very long. This is our first picture as a family of 3. I think it was the first one anyways. It's the first picture for sure. It wasn't my first time holding him, but it's my first picture of a family of 3. Here's a picture of my son. He's so handsome, so beautiful. I miss him every day. He looks just like his daddy, and he has my little nose. Here's his little hands. And here's his little feet. They did up molds for us as well of his hands and feet. So you have 2 of his hands. He has both hands and both feet, I should say. So we have that. I'll show you guys that in some other videos. But yeah, he was born at 9. I mean, not 9. Oh my gosh, he was born 9 pounds, 5 ounces, 22 inches long. He was born at 2:24 in the morning on February 4th. He was just beautiful, and we got to have 3 beautiful days with him in my room in labor and delivery, because I had to spend 5 nights at the hospital, so I did 3 nights in labor and delivery. And then because they had this little bassinet with a cooling mechanism to keep his body cooler, so to delay the decaying process. But because we held him so much, and sometimes the room got warm if people were in my room with me, my family, and people holding him for so long, that he really started to decay lots toward the end, and just made me sad to see that. So I just, I knew I had to say goodbye. It was perfect timing, because we left that room the day we said goodbye. We had the chaplain come and do a little naming ceremony with us, and it was really, really beautiful. I got my mom and my mother-in-law were there, my husband and me, obviously. And, we had Benjamin as well in the room. We were having it, signing the paperwork for a stillborn. I never got to experience doing one for, my living baby before or anything like that. And it's just so hard. But we're planning on probably getting his stillbirth certificate, just so we have it, because we don't know if we'll ever need it. But we also want it just for our own purposes and our own sake. Those were really hard. And because I had a blood infection, I was on so many oral medications, and I had to go and for 14 days after the hospital, I had to go for 14 days back to the hospital every single day for 14 days in the morning to go and get an IV, my IV medication. I had to go for IV treatment for half an hour every single day. It was so hard to go back to the same hospital where I couldn't bring my baby home. It was so hard to go there every single day. It was hard to leave that day from the hospital, but I wasn't on a labor and delivery unit. I was on a different unit for 2 nights, right? And so, labor and delivery, I didn't really leave that floor to go home. I was on a different floor, and they put me on a different floor where there was gonna be no babies. So I was really thankful that, like, my whole entire time at the hospital, there's no babies around me besides, like, my own son, but, like, no crying babies. Didn't have to, you know, the only time I ever saw something was when I had to go get, like, a chest x-ray because I was breathing weird in the middle of the night, one nurse said, and she was just concerned, so I had to go get a chest x-ray done. Everything was fine. I think it was just, like, anxiety of staying the night at the hospital, because I never had to stay the night at the hospital before, besides being born. Other than that, I never had to spend the night at the hospital before, and, you know, I've been to the hospital before, but, like, not to stay overnight. So it was my first time staying the night at the hospital, and so I was breathing weird, so she had me get that done. But when I went to go get that done, a mother was coming up out of the elevator and heavy breathing, ready to give birth, and that was the only thing I saw the whole entire time I was there. You know, I didn't leave the room at all in labor and delivery unless I had to go do that test, and then when I left. Other than that, I didn't leave at all, labor and delivery unit, which is very nice. And then when I went up to the other unit, you know, I got the PICC line put in, so I have like a little thing right there. That's where the IV PICC line was put in, PICC line, and then, you know, that was so I didn't have to have it in my hand anymore. But yeah, like I said, I was told I had preeclampsia and I had HELLP syndrome, which is another severe form of preeclampsia. So with that, you know, I had swollen hands and feet. You know, my legs were swollen too. High blood pressure. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was put on medication for my blood pressure. So I was on blood pressure medication for about a month and a half. I was on oral medication for my infection for about 3 weeks after. Then I had to do IV medication for 14 days out of hospital. Plus, you know, all the times I was in the hospital, I had to take oral medication and do obviously the IV. You know, I can only take Tylenol and not Advil for pain, because one of the medications doesn't react well with Advil, so it took Tylenol. You know, they sent me home, you know, with, you know, a few bottles of, you know, the Perry bottles. I never knew how good putting water down there after you pee would feel. So wonderful after. You know, I had lots of stitches because, you know, I tore lots because, you know, I was pushing at home, so I wasn't obviously pushing at the right moment, so they ripped lots, so I had tons of stitches. My recovery time was probably, they told me, the doctor, my OBGYN told me 3 months. It was about 2.5 for me, for physical recovery. I'm still a little tender down there, but, like, obviously not to a point where, you know, it's worrisome. It's just, you know, still a little, you know, tender down there. What else? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the only thing, you know, I thought that changed, you know, prior to knowing, you know, like, I had really bad skin flare up with my rosacea near the end of my pregnancy there. But other than that, I didn't really see anything different, and, you know, my stomach did spread out a bit more. But then just, like, knowing that, you know, I have a son, he gave me so much hope. I didn't think I could ever become pregnant. He gave us so much hope. If you guys don't really know, like, I bought this bear from the Twinkle Star Project. They make these bears for women and families who, you know, had a stillborn, or, yeah, pretty much for, like, stillborn losses, or even, like, just, like, a pregnancy loss. These are weighted bears. So this is weighted 9 pounds. I mean, this is weighted 9 pounds, 5 ounces. He's a big bear. He's 9 pounds, 5 ounces. And, you know, they have his little name on it. You can get whatever you want put on it. Butterflies, because I didn't know I was pregnant, so I didn't have, like, a theme for his nursery. I really don't know what I would have had, to be honest. But, yeah. But I had, like, a butterfly on our room, on my door in my room for the labor and delivery unit, to signify that there was a stillborn family. And, you know, the room I delivered in was only really meant for families that are dealing with stillborns and stuff like that. So that was really nice. My husband was able to stay with me the whole time. He never left my side until the day he went to till the day he went and, you know, I can't even think of what the heck it's called. Yeah, I'll just say that for the next video. It's about 10 minutes now, guys. But yeah, this is my son's bear that signifies him in my life. You know, it's nice because I get to feel his weight again. But yeah, guys, so I'll see you guys in the next video, okay?